I am back, and we are reading from the Newer Testament by Brad H. Young. Hear What They Heard, an English translation which affirms the New Testament's authentic Hebrew heritage. And we are back in Matityahu, Matthew, and on chapter 24. Probably will do 25 and 26, quizás, perhaps. Let's begin. Yeshua left the temple and was walking away when his disciples came forward to point out the temple buildings to him. But he said to them, "Do you not see all these? In truth, I tell you, not one stone here will be left upon another which will not be torn down." While he was sitting upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately requesting, "Tell us, when will these events happen? What will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" So Yeshua answered and explained to them, "Do not be fooled. Never let anyone lead you astray. After all, many will come making use of my name, claiming I am the Anointed One, and will lead many astray. You will be hearing of wars and rumors about wars. See that you are not afraid, because these events must take place, but the end does not follow yet. Nation will make war against nation, and kingdoms will attack each other. In many places there will be famines and earthquakes, but all these events are only the early stages of birth pains. Then they will deliver you over to persecution, will put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations because you reverence my name. At that time, many will fall away, will betray one another, and will hate one another. Many false prophets will arise and will lead many astray. Because rebellion against Torah is increased, most people's love will grow cold. But the person who perseveres to the end, that one will be saved. This good news teaching of the kingdom shall be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all the nations, and then the end will come. So when you see the idolatrous abomination that causes desecration, Daniel 9 and 27, which was spoken about by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, let the reader comprehend, then, those who are in Yehuda must escape to the mountains. Do not let the one who is on the housetop go down to take out the things that are in his house. Do not let the one who is in the field turn around and come back to pick up his robe. In those days, it will be miserable for pregnant women and mothers who nurse their babies. Pray that your escape will not happen in the winter or on a Shabbat day, because at that time there will be a great tribulation such as has never happened since the beginning of the world until now, Daniel 12 and 1, and never will be again. Unless those days had been cut short, no human being would be saved. For the sake of the elect, however, those days will be cut short. I just don't want to be a part of the tribulation, Lord. Verse 23, if at that time anyone says to you, "Look, here is the Anointed One," or "There he is," do not believe it. For false anointed leaders and deceitful prophets will rise up and will show great signs and wonders so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. Understand what I have told you in advance. So if they say to you, look, he is in the wilderness, do not go out. Or see, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. Because in the same way that the lightning comes from the east and flashes even to the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Where the corpse is, there the eagles will gather. But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from the sky. The powers of the heavens will be shaken. Isaiah 13:10, Isaiah 34:4. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky. Then all the families of the earth will mourn. Zechariah 12:12. And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the heaven with power and great glory. Daniel 7:13, Daniel 14. He will send forth his angels with a great trumpet blast. Isaiah 27:13. And they will gather together. Deuteronomy 30:4. His elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Learn the message taught from the fig tree. When its branch has become tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so you, when you see all these events happening, recognize that it is near, close to the gates. Truly I say to you that this generation will not pass away until all these events take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. No one knows when that day and hour will be, not even the angels of heaven nor the Son, but only the Father exclusively. Because the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. For as in those days before the flood, people were busy eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. They did not understand until the flood came and swept all of them away. So also will be the coming of the Son of Man. At that time, there will be two people in the field. One will be taken and one will be left. Two will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken and one will be left. Keep on the alert then, because you do not know on which day your Lord is coming. Know this, then. If the homeowner had known at what time of the night the thief was coming, he would have kept on the alert and would not have allowed his house to be broken into. For this reason, you yourselves must be on the alert, because the Son of Man is coming at an hour when you are not expecting him. Who then is the faithful and wise servant to whom his master will give authority over his household to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master finds doing this when he comes. In truth, I tell you, he will give him authority over all his possessions. But if that evil servant will say in his heart, my master is delayed, and begins to beat his colleague servants, eating and drinking with drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and assign him a place with the pretenders, where in that place there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. Oh Lord. That was chapter 24, verse 1 through 51. Oh my gosh. place with the pretenders, but that I be alert, for I know not the day nor the hour that you will return. Chapter 25. Then the kingdom of heaven may be compared to 10 bridesmaids who took their oil lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were clever. When the foolish took their lamps, they brought no oil with them, but the clever brought oil in containers along with their lamps. Now, while the bridegroom was a long time in coming, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. Suddenly at midnight, there was a shout, "Look, the bridegroom! Go out to meet him." Then all those bridesmaids woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the clever, "Give us some of your oil because our lamps are going out." But the clever answered, "No, there may not be enough for us and for you as well. Go instead to the dealers and buy some more for yourselves." While they were going away to make the purchase, the bridegroom came, and those who were prepared went in with him to the wedding feast. The door was shut. Later, the other bridesmaids also came, saying, "Lord, Lord, open up for us." But he answered, "In truth, I tell you, I do not know you. Be on the alert then, because you do not know the day nor the hour." It is like someone who is about to go on a long journey. He called his own servants and entrusted his possessions into their care. To one servant he gave 5 talents, to another 2 talents, and to another one, giving to each according to his own ability. Then he traveled far away. At once the servant who had been entrusted with the 5 talents went and traded them. He gained 5 more talents. In the same way, the servant who had been entrusted with the 2 talents gained 2 more. But the servant who had been entrusted with the 1 talent went away, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. Now, after a long time had passed, the master of those servants returned to settle the accounts with them. The one who had been entrusted with the 5 talents came forward and brought 5 more talents, saying, "Master, you gave 5 talents into my care. See, I have made 5 more talents." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful with management of small things. I will give you authority over much greater matters. Enter into the joy of your master." Also, the one who had been entrusted with the 2 talents came forward and said, "Master, you gave 2 talents into my care. See, I have made 2 more talents." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful with management of small things. I will give you authority over much greater matters. Enter into the joy of your master." The servant who had been entrusted with the 1 talent came forward and said, "Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you did not winnow, so I was afraid. I went away and I hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what belongs to you." But his master answered and said to him, "You wicked and lazy servant. You knew that I reap where I did not sow and gather where I did not winnow. Then you ought to have put my money in the bank, and on my arrival I would have received my deposit back with interest paid. Because of this, take away the talent from him and give it to the one who has the 10 talents. Because to everyone who has shall more be given, and to that one will have an abundance. But from the one who does not have, even what that person does have shall be taken away. Throw out the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. When the Son of Man comes in his sublime glory with all the angels accompanying him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered into his presence before him. He will separate them one from another, just like the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will make the sheep stand on his right side and the goats on the left. Then the king will speak to those standing on his right side, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry and you gave me food to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you gave me hospitality. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you cared for me. I was in prison and you came to visit me." You are literally telling us what we're supposed to be doing while we wait for you. You are literally telling us we are to clothe those who are without. We are to feed those. We are to visit those who are sick. We are to visit those who are imprisoned. We're just supposed to be showing love. We are to be serving, not just feasting on this word. We're supposed to look more like you every day. Not selfish with this word. If we found life in this word, then we should be sharing that life, right? Right. Show love. Show love. Show love. For those who don't know, I am a weeper. Okay, chapter 25, verse 37. Then the righteous ones will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and fed you and thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and provide you with hospitality, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and come to help you?" The king will answer and say to them, "In truth I tell you, insofar as you helped one of the humblest of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it to me." Then he will also say to those on his left, "Go away from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire, which has been prepared for the devils and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not offer hospitality for me, naked, and you did not clothe me, sick and in prison, and you did not come to help me. Then they themselves will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not provide care for you? Then he will answer them, in truth I tell you, insofar as you failed to help one of the humblest of these, you did not do it to me. These will go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. That was Matthew chapter 25, verse 1 through 46. Lowered. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do chapter 26. Y'all bear with me. When Yeshua had finished all these teachings, he said to his disciples, you know that after 2 days the Pesach festival is approaching and the Son of Man is to be delivered over to be crucified. Then the chief priests and the elders of the people were gathered together in the court of the high priest named Caiaphas. They planned together to arrest Yeshua secretly by deceit and put him to death. But they were saying, not during the festival, otherwise a riot might break out among the people. Now when Yeshua was in Beit Anya, at the home of Shimon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster vial of very expensive fragrant oil. She poured it on his head, and as he reclined beside the table, she poured it on his head as he reclined beside the table. However, when the disciples saw this, they were indignant and exclaimed, why this waste? After all, this fragrant oil might have been sold for a considerable high price and the money given to the poor. But aware of this, Yeshua said to them, why do you bother the woman? For she has done a good work on my behalf. Always you have the poor people among you, but you will not always have me. When she poured this fragrant oil on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. Oh! In truth, I tell you, wherever this good news teaching is proclaimed throughout the whole world, what this woman has done will also be told in memory of her. Then one of the 12, named Yehuda, man of Kariat, approached the chief priests and asked, what are you willing to give me so that I will betray him to you? Oh, Yehuda, man of Kariat, that's Judas of Iscariot. What are you willing to give me so that I will betray him to you? Dang. So they weighed out 30 pieces of silver for him. Zechariah 11:12. From that moment, he started seeking for a good opportunity to betray Yeshua. What in the world changed, Judas? Verse 17. Now on the first day of matzah bread, the disciples came to Yeshua and asked, "Where do you want us to make preparations for you to eat the Pesach lamb?" He said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'The rabbi says, my time is near. I must keep the Pesach festival at your house with my disciples.'" The disciples did as Yeshua had directed them, and they prepared the Pesach lamb. Now, when evening came, Yeshua was reclining beside the table with the 12 disciples. As they were eating, he said, "In truth, I tell you that one of you will betray me." Feeling terribly grieved, they each one began to ask him, "Surely it could not be me, Lord." He answered, "The one who dipped his matzah bread next to my hand with me in the dish is the one who will betray me. True, the Son of Man must follow his course just as it stands written concerning him, but severe retribution will come to that man through whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that man if he had not been born." Even Yehuda, who was betraying him, said, "Surely it could not be me, Rabbi." Yeshua told him, "You have said it yourself." While they were eating, Yeshua took matzah bread, and after pronouncing a blessing of thanks, he broke it and gave it to the disciples and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." When he had taken a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out on behalf of many for forgiveness of sins." Isaiah 53:11-12. "But I tell you, I will not drink from this fruit of the vine from now until that day when I will drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." After singing the Hallel, Psalms 113 through Psalms 118, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then Yeshua told them, "You will all stumble and fall away because of me this night, for it stands written, I will strike down the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered." Zechariah 13:7. "But after I have been raised to life again, I will go ahead of you to the Galilee." But Kepha said to him, "Even though everyone else may stumble and fall away on account of you, I will never fall away." Yeshua said to him, "In truth, I tell you that tonight, before a rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. Kepha replied to him, "Even if I have to die with you, I will not disown you." All the disciples claimed the same thing too. Then Yeshua came with them to a place called Gat Shemanim and told his disciples, "Sit here while I go over there to pray." He took with him Kepha and the 2 sons of Zebediah and began to feel deep anguish and distress. Then he said to them, "My soul is crushed with anguish to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." He went a little farther away, fell prostrate on his face, and prayed, saying, "My Father, if it is at all possible, let this cup be taken away from me. Nonetheless, not as I want, but according to your will, let it be done." When he came back to the disciples, he found them sleeping. Then he said to Kepha, "So you did not have the strength to stay awake with me for 1 hour? Keep watching and praying so that you may not enter into temptation. Certainly the spirit is willing, but the body is weak." He went away again a second time and prayed, saying, "My Father, if it is impossible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, then let your will be done." Again, he came and found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. He left them again, went away, and prayed a third time, once more using the same words. Then he came to the disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour has come, and the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Wake up. Let us be going. See now, the one who betrays me has arrived." While he was still speaking, suddenly Yehuda, Judas, went straight over to Yeshua and said, "Shalom to you, Rabbi," and kissed him. Yeshua said to him, "Friend, do what you have come to do." Then they came, laid hands on Yeshua, and arrested him. With that, suddenly, one of those who was with Yeshua reached for and pulled out his sword. He slashed at the slave of the high priest and cut off his ear. Then Yeshua told him, "Put your sword back into its sheath, because all those who take up the sword shall die by the sword. Do you suppose that I cannot call upon my Father, and he will at once send for my rescue more than 12 army legions of angels? How then will the scriptures be fulfilled which teach that it must happen this way?" At that time, Yeshua said to the crowds, "Why have you come out with swords and clubs to capture me like you would come to fight against a robber? Day after day I have been sitting in the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But all this has happened in order to fulfill the writings of the prophets." Then all the disciples left him and ran away. Those who had arrested Yeshua led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were gathered together. But Caiaphas was following him at a distance as far as the courtyard of the high priest, where he entered inside and sat down with the officers to see the outcome. Now the chief priests and the whole committee kept trying to obtain false testimony against Yeshua so that they might put him to death. They found nothing convincing, even though many false witnesses came forward. At last, 2 came forward and claimed, "This man stated, 'I am able to destroy the temple of God to build it again in 3 days.'" The high priest stood up and questioned him, "Do you not answer? What about this charge that these men are testifying against you?" But Yeshua kept silent. So the high priest said to him, "I charge you under oath by the living God that you tell us whether you are the anointed one, the Son of God." Yeshua said to him, "You have said so yourself. Nonetheless, I tell you, from now on you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power. Psalm 110, verse 1. And coming with the clouds of heaven. Daniel 7 and 13. Then the high priest tore his robes and declared, "He has spoken profanely. What need do we have of more witnesses? See now, you have heard the profane words. What do you think?" They answered, "He deserves death." Then they spit in his face and hit him with their fists. Others slapped him and said, "Play the prophet for us, you anointed one. Who is the one who hit you?" Meanwhile, Kepha was sitting outside in the courtyard, and a servant girl came to him and said, "You too were with Yeshua the Galilean." But he denied it before them all, saying, "I do not know what you're talking about." When he had gone out to the gateway, someone else recognized him and said to those who were there, "This man was with Yeshua of Nazareth." Again, he denied it with an oath, "I do not know the man." A little later, the people standing around came near and said to Kepha, "Unquestionably, you too are among them, because even the way you talk gives you away." Then he began to curse and swear, "I do not know the man." At that moment, a rooster crowed. Kepha remembered the word which Yeshua had said, "Before a rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." He went outside and he burst into tears of bitter anguish. That was chapter 26, verses 1 through 75. And I don't think I can handle any more today. So I'm going to leave it there. Told y'all I was a weeper. So great a love. So great a love. Ooh. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you. Oh, my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Father, thank you for your compassion, for your kindness, for your faithfulness, for your steadfastness, for keeping your word, for your faithfulness to the Jew first, and deliverance for the nations as well. Thank you for not giving me what I deserve. The wickedness in my heart, that I would just as soon save myself than lay down my life for another. But you sent your Son to be in demonstration of your loving kindness. Show me how to be more like you. How to see humanity the way you see them. How to value them. And show them loving kindness. And share the truth and love. That you are holy. Holy, holy, holy. And you cannot abide sin. But in your loving kindness, you provided a way of escape. And you literally laid out how we can dwell with you for eternity. I don't ever want to be out of your presence. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the word. I pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And that your chosen people will accept their Jewish Messiah so that the King can return. Ooh, let your kingdom be coming. Oh, Lord, I'm recording. In Yeshua's name, amen. Ciao.